Alright, Instagram, tonight's drawing is started as a study in a skull, and I came across a picture of an elongated skull on one of the archaeology blogs that I follow. I'm not sure which tribe I saw it on, but I just kind of went with the idea. And it's kind of a central idea in a lot of mythology, the elongated skulls represent to look like they're gods, and altering the human form. But as those of you who follow my work know, I'm also pretty obsessed with ancient Mexican Mayan imagery. So, just kind of adding these elements in here and just kind of seeing what happens. This one is much more a stream of consciousness and gives a chance to really look at not so much formally thinking things through, but going at it as it flows. And also gives me a good chance to go through stippling and using different inking techniques. Which that's something I would say. If you're going to be using pen and ink, don't just limit yourself to, let's say, cross-hatching or only stippling. If you really want to make it interesting and add depth, I recommend using stippling actually to build up the mid values. Because one of the drawbacks of only going with cross-hatching is you get a very good contrast, but you want to get those subtle middle tones. Stippling's the way to go, baby. That's the way to do it. Alright. Let's say I started this drawing about 3 in the afternoon, ran some errands, and here we go. And the idea of stippling is very simple. Just the more dots, the more darker it gets. But what's really neat about it is how many different midtones you can get with it. You can see I'm doing it in the skull behind, the skull with the horns coming out. We're gonna call them horns. Like horns or feathers, not really sure, but it doesn't really matter. These are mythical beings. Giving each one its own unique shape, its own unique highlights and lowlights. I kind of feel like this thing should exist in somewhere. Maybe this is something you would see in a shrine, or lost in a cave, or a pyramid or a temple. And for the hair, I'm kind of thinking of it kind of almost like beads, just coming out, kind of a dreadlock kind of hair pattern, matted, a little on the matted side. Something you've seen. I hate to say, like I saw in the movie Apocalypto, where the Maya have their hair matted up with clays and different things to dress it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And sometimes, it's best to just not overthink things. If you're trying to create a creature or create... I wouldn't call these creatures that I'm making, more so as almost like icons. Almost like a religious icon. And a lot of my ideas are equally rooted in comic books and science fiction, which is really the basis. I always say that, watching Star Wars is what got me going, but it's good to mix up the different mythologies. And I'd say, when it comes out of Marvel Comics, that's mythology too. Our gods, our heroes, our villains, our demons are all there. And music also helps the process too, at least for me. Lately, been listening to a lot of newer stuff. Recommend a band actually out of Walnut Creek rather. Fallujah, been around for at least a good 10 years. Highly recommend giving them a listen. If you want some surreal death metal, good atmospherics in it. And sometimes I go over to the classics like, Black Sabbath. Can never go wrong with Sabbath. Or the Stones. Alright. Hope y'all are enjoying, and let's see how the finished product goes.